Greetings, Guardians. This is Olympus Alliance, and today, we're stepping once again into the world of Relics. A system that's rewriting the balance of hero wars, Alliance, giving our favorite heroes new strength, new depth, and in some cases, a whole new identity. And this time, the spotlight shines on one of the most iconic physical damage dealers ever to rise from the early days of the game, Jhu. For years, Jhu was known as that early game powerhouse, the hero who could tear through campaign stages, crush Hydra heads, and carry the team on his back. Until the endgame came and he started to fade away from the front lines. But now, with the arrival of Relics, everything changes. Jhu is back, stronger, faster, and hungrier than ever. The new Relic system transforms Jhu from a reliable but situational hero into a full-on battlefield threat, capable of challenging meta teams and dealing some of the most terrifying sustained damage in the game. And thanks to the Brawls event, we get the perfect opportunity to test him at his absolute peak, fully maxed relics, upgraded legendary skills, and no resource limits. For 5 straight days, you can enter the Brawls and unleash the ultimate version of Jhu, the kind of version most players can only dream about. The rewards from Brawls might not be the most thrilling, but that's not what matters here. The real prize is knowledge, the experience of seeing how Jhu performs at the very top, before anyone else has a chance to master him. So, let's talk about what relics actually do for Jhu, and why he might finally be ready to step into the PvP spotlight again. Jhu's identity has always been clear. He's a berserker. A relentless damage dealer who grows stronger as the battle goes on. His "you will not stop me" skill defines him, increasing his attack speed and damage as his health drops, turning him into a true last man standing executioner. But the problem was always the same: survivability. He hit hard, but he burned out fast. Against mages, stuns, or heavy control, Jhu often fell before he could truly ramp up his power. That's exactly what his relics fix. His first relic adds a new layer of endurance and control resistance. Every time Jhu activates Blood Frenzy, he now gains temporary immunity to control effects for a few seconds, allowing him to keep attacking even when chaos breaks loose. It doesn't sound like much on paper, but in practice, it's game-changing. No more getting locked down by Lian, no more sleeping through Somna's control chains, no more getting frozen before you unleash your fury. When Jhu's relics are active, he stays in the fight, swinging harder and faster with every passing second. The second relic brings the pain. It enhances the raw damage output of his first skill, adding bonus pure damage scaling with his missing health. That means the lower Jhu's HP gets, the harder he hits, a mechanic that perfectly matches his playstyle. During testing, I saw Jhu delete full health enemies with a single Blood Frenzy combo. And unlike before, he doesn't just fall apart when his HP drops, his relics actually make him deadlier at that exact moment. And then comes the third relic, the true definition of a finisher. This upgrade amplifies his final moments. When Jhu drops below a certain percentage of health, his attack speed spikes dramatically, and his critical hits gain a pure damage multiplier. Combined with Sebastian, who boosts his critical chance, and Aiden, who provides healing and protection, this relic turns Jhu into a full-on monster. Once his frenzy kicks in, he becomes unstoppable, and for the first time in years, even top-tier heroes have to respect his presence. When testing Jhu in Brawls, I tried him across multiple team setups, and the results were surprisingly consistent. In physical heavy teams, he dominates. Pair him with heroes like Kayla, Folio, or Yasmine, and the frontline melts instantly. With Sebastian boosting his critical hits and Hus providing backup healing, Jhu's sustained damage becomes terrifying. In mixed compositions, I ran him with heroes like Aiden and Oya, and that's where things got even more interesting. Oyus disruption created openings for Jhu to strike safely, and Aiden's barrier kept him alive long enough to reach that critical health threshold where his relics really shine. When that happened, he simply took over the battlefield. In my testing, one of the biggest surprises was how well he performed against control teams. Normally, Jhu would be shredded by crowd control, but now, with the control immunity from his relic, he pushes straight through it. Lian's charm? Gone. Somna's sleep? Ignored. Even Folio's disruption barely slowed him down. Once Jhu enters his frenzy mode, his attacks land non-stop, tearing through both tanks and supports alike. But the biggest win is how balanced he now feels. Before Relics, Jhu was a gamble, incredible damage if he survived, but fragile and inconsistent. With Relics, he becomes reliable. His attacks are smoother, his timings more forgiving, and his synergy options broader. He no longer feels like an early game relic, he feels like a real contender in the modern meta. Let's talk about some of his best partners now that relics are active. Sebastian is still his #1 ally. The boost, critical chance and pure damage from Sebastian's 4th skill perfectly complements Ju's relic-fueled rampage. Kayla's area attacks and armor-piercing pressure help clear the front line, giving Jhu direct access to the enemy damage dealers. Aiden, as always, provides the sustain that lets Jhu stay alive long enough to enter his frenzy safely, and once he does, Aiden's healing keeps that rampage going even longer. And surprisingly, Folio also works extremely well. His control disruption keeps enemies grouped and weakened, giving Jhu the ideal window to strike hard. But of course, no test would be complete without seeing how Jhu performs against top-tier threats. I tested him against Kayla teams, Yasmine burst comps, and control-heavy setups with Somna and Lian. Against Kayla, Ju's relics let him trade blow for blow, his sustain and control resistance giving him a fair fight for the first time in ages. Against Yasmine, his faster attack cycle allows him to burst her before she lands her kill combo. Against Somna, his relics make him immune to her main advantage. He keeps attacking even through her sleep debuffs, breaking the control chain entirely. That's what makes this new version of Jhu so exciting. He's not just playable again, he's powerful, flexible, and fun. The relic system finally gives him what he always needed: survivability, scaling, and purpose beyond the early game. So, Guardians, if you're entering the Brawls event this week, don't skip the chance to try Jhu at his absolute peak. Test him in every composition you can, physical, mixed, support heavy, and watch how different he feels. The more you play, the more you'll understand just how far these relics push his limits. Whether you're a veteran or a new player, this is the perfect moment to rediscover Jhu. He's no longer the early game bruiser who fades away. He's a relentless fighter who can hold his ground, defy control, and unleash devastating power when it matters most. So, my verdict is simple. Ju's relics are a triumph. They don't just make him stronger, they make him relevant again. They remind us that even the oldest heroes can rise once more when given the right tools. Now it's your turn, Guardians. Go into Brawls, test him, and share your experiences in the comments below. What team setups worked best for you? Did his relics surprise you as much as they did me? Let's compare results and see how far this new Jhu can go. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more content like this, hit that like button, subscribe to Olympus Alliance, and ring the bell so you never miss the next hero deep dive. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and as always, salute and friendship.